Morning, everyone.
Good morning, Rabbi.
Chodesh Tov, good Chodesh. We are learning Mishnah Yisukah, Parakimot chapter 3, Mishna Tesvav, Mishnah 15. Okay. Mekabelas isha meyad b'na meyad baila. A woman can receive the lulav from her son or from her husband after they have used it for the mitzvah. Umachzirasa lamayim b'Shabbos, and return it into water on Shabbos. Now, from the Mishnah and from other places we see, not sure people who still do it nowadays probably, but it was very common in times of the Mishnah, especially because of the warm weather, to actually to leave your lulav in water to keep it moist, make sure it doesn't dry out. Okay, so the Mishnah's case here is that the person, the man who was doing the mitzvah, the male who was doing the mitzvah, finished doing the mitzvah. So now it's going to go back into, it was in the water before Shabbos or Yontif. Okay. We're talking about in the times when, if the first day of Sukkot was Shabbos, they would actually take the Lulav and Esrog on Shabbos. And now the Lulav and Esrog is being given to the wife, to the mother, and she's going to put it back in the water. So the first part of the Mishnah that says the woman can receive the lulav from her son or from her husband. The Mishnah is teaching us something here. It's not telling us just a story. It's teaching us something here by talking about giving it to the wife instead of just talking about the man puts it back in the water. It's trying to tell us that there is no problem doing that. Why would I think there's a problem? Because the answer is, as we mentioned before, there's a concept called muktzah. Certain objects the sages forbade a person from moving on Shabbos. The rule basically is that if it's a food or it's a kli, it's considered a vessel, utensil, it's not muktzah. If it doesn't fall under one of those two categories, it's going to be muktzah. So a piece of wood, just a branch, isn't a food, and it's not typically a utensil. So it should be muktzah, which means that the lulav should be muktzah, because it's not a kli, it's not a utensil. Just that the Torah says use it for the mitzvah, then it's not muktzah. Okay, so now, all right. So the man or the boy who are obligated to do this mitzvah, right? So for them, it's not muktzah. They have the obligation to use it, to take it. It's not muktzah. But the woman who doesn't have the mitzvah, she's not obligated to take lulav and esrog. Not even according to rabbinic law, she's not obligated to take the lulav and esrog. One might think that for her, the lulav is muktzah. The Mishnah says, no, she can take it. It's not muktzah even for her. Why? Because since for the man, it can be used for the mitzvah, it is considered just like a kli, just like a utensil for the laws of muktzah. Being that for him, he can take it for the mitzvah, it's considered a kli, a utensil, it has a use, and therefore it's not muktzah. Even if there's something that you don't use, as long as somebody uses it, it's a vessel. So in this case, we say that since the lulav can be used for the mitzvah, it has the status of a vessel, and therefore the woman can she can take it and put it back into the water. Now, halachically, nowadays, where if even the first day of Sukkot or Shabbos we don't take lulav and esrog, the lulav is muktzah. The lulav, the adasim, the aravis are muktzah. They have no purpose. You can't use it for the mitzvah. It's not a kli. It has no other usage. It's muktzah. The esrog, though, isn't muktzah. Why? Because people smell it. People use it for smelling. And therefore, it has that usage. It has a usage. It's like a food. So therefore, we say that it's not muktzah. So the other, nowadays, again, where we don't do the mitzvah on Shabbos, the lulav is going to be muktzah. The esrog is not. Okay, now, the next part of the Mishnah is umachzirasa lamayim b'Shabbos. She can return it to the water on Shabbos. That implies, if we use the word that you return it to the water on Shabbos, that implies that it already was in the water when Shabbos began, and you're putting it back. But not that you're initially putting it in the water on Shabbos. You can put it back. This time of the Mishnah is telling us you can put it back into the water. That means it was in the water before, you can put it back. But if you didn't put it in the water before Shabbos, you can't initially put it into the water on Shabbos. Now, let's continue. Rabbi Yehuda says, B'Shabbos machzirin. On Shabbos, you can put it back. B'yom tov ma'isifin. On Yom Tov, you could add water. U'b'mayed ma'achlifin, and during Chol HaMoed, you can change the water. So this all means Rabbi Yehuda is telling us what you can do on Shabbos, and implying what you can't do on Shabbos. What you can do on Yom Tov, and implying what you can't do on Yom Tov. Rabbi Yehuda says on Shabbos you can put it back, but you can't add water to it on Shabbos, because adding water to it is called tircha. It's considered exertion. Exertion for what? To a certain degree, when you go ahead and you put this lulav back into the water, it's like fixing it, because otherwise it would dry out. So at a certain degree, you are doing something, you're fixing it to a degree, and there is tircha, there's effort involved in it, because you're adding water. Therefore, on Shabbos, the sages said, you can put it back. No big deal putting it back, not a lot of effort in putting it back. But to go ahead and to add water to it, and certainly to change the water, that's already considered too much effort, too much exertion, and it takes away from Shabbos. The Yom Tif, Rabbi Yehuda said, you can do more. On Yom Tif, where the restrictions are not the same as on Yom Tif, the restrictions are not the same as on Shabbos, we allow you to do more effort. You can exert yourself somewhat. You can add the water. But to change the water, that's really, again, too much effort, too much involvement in doing this, and that's not appropriate for Yom Tif. If it's Chol HaMoed, which is already even less restrictive, then you can change the water. You can change the water. And not only can you change the water, you should change the water. Because the fresher and colder the water it is, the better it is for the lulav. So the point is, the Mishnah is going in levels, what you can do on Shabbos when it comes to putting the to having the lulav in water, what you can do on Yom Tif, and what you can do on Chol HaMoed. Then the Mishnah concludes, a minor, a young, which means a male, a katan, a minor who knows how to shake the lulav, how wave the lulav, and as we said, wave means you wave it in all four directions, up and down. If he knows how to do that, he's mature enough to understand how to do that. Chayav lulav, he's obligated in the mitzvah of lulav. Obligated means he has reached the age of chinuch, of being trained for mitzvahs, and the father is obligated to make sure that his son performs the mitzvah. So if he's old enough to do that, yeah. And if he is old enough to do that, then the father has to train him in the mitzvah. Okay, have a wonderful day. Chodesh Tov.
Question. Thank you very much.